Letters to Lisa. Recording 1. Compilation 3. New Beginnings.
Well, dear listener, if you were there, it's been a real shake-up for me recently. When I last made a recording, I'd just escaped from a woman who was apparently my daughter, waving a gun about and spouting all sorts of things about time travel. Stealing a rather dubious device from her bag, I landed up here, in the same house, the same room, but about 20 years in the future. Yes, an incredibly bizarre experience. It's been extraordinarily strange. I don't think I could ever really explain the sense of not being out of my own time completely. However, I am very lucky. The young adults who live as housemates in my house, now rented accommodation, are wonderfully understanding. One of them, Eric, is a computer engineer who works at home somehow. I haven't the foggiest how. He's been helping me with figuring out this new technology. He was the most excited about my story. I think he's a bit of a geek. Very sweet, though he's German and very methodical, but patient with my Luddite response to the internet. He's the one that suggested I upload the recordings. Well, he's doing it for me. We tried to record from his phone, which is smaller than a bar of chocolate. I don't think I'll ever get over that one, ever. I'm just recording them on my cassette player. He's wonderful and can convert it all and mess with it and make it work. We actually found a box of some old letters for me in the attic, so I will go through some of those. They just help me feel grounded. It stops me from panicking about what to do with myself. This one was a bit faded, but it was tied up with a little purple bow, so I felt drawn to open it first.
Lisa, this is very difficult to explain, so I won't go through the niceties. I just need to cut to the meat. The sun won't stop screaming at me. What do I do? I know that sounds unusual, but it wasn't my fault. You caused all this nonsense. How do I get it to shut up? Every morning, the minute it begins to creep its rosy finger across the sky, it begins. The sound of a never-ending scream from a distance getting closer. By midday, it's impossible to block it out. If I'm not outside, it just screams or repeats the same phrase, "Davro, get out here before I burn your family." If I go outside, it begins to tell me about what it's seen my family doing outside, like Auntie Mandy eating 5 hot dogs secretly at a school barbecue. I don't know why, but it just likes to tell me a lot of useless information. If I tell it I'm not interested, it begins to sulk, goes on and on about how it hasn't been able to talk to anyone before and how so lonely and how I won't even live that long in its perspective. It's the least I can do to converse and listen to it. It loves to bring up that I will die and rot in a blink of its existence. I swear, I pray for clouds. When it rains, I like to go outside and breathe. My girlfriend thinks I'm mad, and she'd be right if you hadn't caused all this mess. Why didn't you warn me? I mean, I'm sure there's worse fortune cookies from the takeaway of evil, but the rest of the meal was fairly normal. Well, the spice bag was a bit suspect. I think I saw the noodles move, and I'm sure I don't want to know where the ribs came from, but it was just an innocent-looking fortune cookie. It's your fault for giving me the task of getting rid of the menu. I mean, at the price of a takeaway as it is nowadays, £5.50 was just insane not to try, you know? Especially with no delivery fee. But now I'm stuck with this every day. Makes work impossible. The son may be older than us, but it does not understand accountancy. Every day it tells me that I'd be better off working it all out on paper just in case the computers go down. I did try and explain that if all the computers went down, we'd have bigger problems than my accounts for the electrical company I work at. However, the son does not take criticism well. He doesn't even tell me interesting historical facts. He always says, "Oh, I
I was just looking at a different place then. How was I meant to know when something big's going to happen?
Tried to get it to help me with gambling. I would have tried to get it to help me with blackmail, as this could be like a superpower for me, but it's useless. Seems to get distracted whenever a human eats something. I think it's jealous. It keeps saying it craves to taste something that isn't helium. It's just a big fat burden. Of course no one else can hear any of this, just me. It gets frustrating if I don't just respond immediately, so it begins to sing tomorrow from Annie until I do. It's made a lot of conversations confusing. I don't even know how it can hear me from such a vast distance, or how it can pick out just my voice, let alone how I can hear it, and no one bloody else can. I've tried to burn the menu, but I just keep getting it through the letterbox. Delivered by no one. I know, because I've checked. There's never a sign of anyone. I've nailed the letterbox shut once, and it just plops onto the doormat no matter what. If you bin it, throw it in a cupboard, another appears. It has to be in the kitchen on the fridge, otherwise more appear. Night is my only respite. I'm thinking of moving to somewhere where the sun isn't up for as long. I'd never see my family, but might be worth it. Oh, Lisa, what do I do? Let me know the minute you get this, yeah? I need to get this sorted fast. The sun will come out tomorrow. I mean, it's not even a normal fortune. Davro, the guy from Bingo.
Well, Davro, I think perhaps for the first time I might have advice. It's such a bizarre story you wove. It seems that this situation you got yourself in might be ended easily. I suggest you begin to ignore the sun. Pretend that you can no longer hear it. It could work. I mean, if one day you just started hearing it, it wouldn't be too strange if you just stopped. I think the sun would be annoyed, but would get over it eventually and leave you alone. It's a shame because it's probably very nice for the sun to have a friend. But if you want out, I suggest cutting it off just like that. Let me know how you get on, if you can.
That was Letters to Lisa, Recording 1, Compilation 3, New Beginnings. Written by Phoebe Critchlow. Read by Caroline Lawrie.